ever felt like someone has awakened something inside you? Something so deep, so intense that it shook your entire world? That's often how the twin flame journey begins. Not as a fairy tale, but as a mirror. A mirror that reflects not only your light, but also your wounds. And somewhere along this journey, through the longing, the separation, the confusion, you're faced with one powerful truth. This journey was never just about them. It was always about you. Hello and welcome to my channel Spiritual Bloom with your mentor and twin flame guide Neha. So in today's episode, we will be talking about coming home to yourself. That is self-love in the twin flame journey. And how does this self-love can be practiced when you are in this journey? We will also discuss that why self-love is considered as the key to union. So, as we all know and believe that our twin flame journey, our twin flame will complete us. That is the thinking that we all twin flames carry in this journey since the very beginning. We feel that their love will fill the emptiness that we carry, the void which we have been carrying since many years. The other person is going to fill that gap and the void. But the journey gently and sometimes painfully teaches otherwise. It asks, can you sit with yourself in silence? Can you hold your own heart the way you wish they would? Can you choose yourself even when they don't? These questions are quite deep, intense, and people usually ask these questions to themselves or go through this phase during the separation phase or the dark night of the soul in a twin flame journey. So, how do we come into self-love? During the beginning stages of a twin flame journey, a person does not know what self-love is. So it takes time for them to reach there. And how do they reach there? When the separation or the dark night of the soul hits them. And when they ask these questions to themselves, that can you sit with yourself in silence? Without feeling abandoned, can you sit with yourself in silence, in hermit mode, in isolation? When the world is slowly drifting apart from you, when your friends, colleagues, family no longer resonate with your thinking, your thoughts, your conversations, can you still sit with yourself in such silence and do what you are supposed to do in the 3D and maintain that lifestyle or discipline or habit which you have been carrying out for years? Can you go through that intense pain during that process when you are still processing the separation phase, while you are still processing the dark night of the soul? Can you handle that silence when you are all by yourself and there's nobody else to whom you can reach out? Not even your counterpart. That is when a person comes to realization that the love that I have been pouring into others since many years, sometimes in the form of a sister, sometimes in the form of a brother, sometimes as a partner, that time it hits you like a truck and you come to realization that have I ever loved myself the way I have loved others? Did I ever respect myself the way I respect others? Why was I so needy and running behind people when they showed me where I exactly belonged? Did I love myself enough? These are the questions that you'll go through before you understand what self-love is. You understand that your self-esteem and self-respect is important. You will also realize that you have an identity in this world, and you were raised and you have reached a certain stage in your life through your hard work, through your kindness, for being honest, for being a good human. And you will not oversee all those qualities. Why won't you oversee all those qualities? You won't oversee, you won't ignore, you won't neglect those qualities, because gradually you'll understand that even your counterpart lacks those qualities. It's not about judging, because even your counterpart goes through dark night of the soul. They transform from a distorted personality to divine, so it takes time. But you gradually understand that people are not as kind as you are. People are not as giving as you are. So you gradually draw a boundary line and start loving yourself within that boundary. Another question comes: can you choose yourself even when they don't? This happens when your masculine, your counterpart, abandons you, leaves you, and makes you feel like you are worthless. They run away from you because you chase them. You act needy. You show them that something is lacking in you, due to which your counterpart runs away from you, starts running from you. In that moment, do you choose yourself? Choosing others is easy. Even when they mistreat you, even when they don't give you enough respect, still you will keep on choosing others to the point that you become heartbroken, to the point where you are exhausted mentally, physically, and emotionally. Yet, it takes so much time for us to realize and to understand that before choosing others, it's so important to choose yourself first. Always remember one thing: if you don't belong to yourself, you can never belong to anybody else. If you are not loyal to yourself, you cannot be loyal for anyone else. Nobody is going to be loyal for you either. So can you sit with yourself in silence? Do you choose yourself each and every day, even when it seems like nobody is supporting you, nobody loves you? These are the thoughts that comes, during this phase. You feel like nobody loves me, nobody adores me, nobody is there to support me emotionally or mentally. So in these moments you have to be strong, and in these moments only people come into realization that they have to come into self-love, because they are mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted chasing the other person. So they finally come home to themselves. Coming home to yourself is the biggest win, because after that, when you start working on yourself and come into self-love, your mentality shifts, your thinking process shifts, and that shows in the 3D, that shows up in your personality. A person who was a chaser once upon a time behaves differently when that person comes into self-love. They have high confidence, high self-esteem, and they never chase any person, situation, or any materialistic things. because they know that they have sat with themselves during those lonely nights when no one was standing there for them. They know they filled those void gaps in their heart through their own effort, through their own love, through their own support and hard work. So they will never trade that self love, that respect for temporary relationships, temporary reunions, or temporary materialistic things. That is an impact when you come into self love. You become unrecognizable. Self love changes your personality entirely. It is also a part of your ascension. When you choose yourself, it means you are choosing divine. Because when you choose yourself, it means that you are ready to work on yourself and you are not abandoning yourself. You are not abandoning that one creature which the divine has made. You go deep within and you understand your value, your worth. And that is what shifts the entire dynamic in this journey. That's why they say, no, that self-love is the key to union. It's very easy to say, but doing the shadow work and shifting your energy from being needy and a chaser to a very high value person who is having a high frequency, that is very difficult. It's very easy to say that self-love is the key to union. It is very easy to say, practice self-love every day. But I know, I have been there. How separation breaks you. How dark night of the soul breaks you. It's like you are trying to climb stairs. You barely reach the fourth stair and again someone kicks you down. Again you are injured, but again you put in effort to stand up again and reach another stair. Maybe this time you reach the fifth stair, but again you fall down. That is how my imagination is when it comes to standing up for yourself, trying to love yourself even when it's hard, even when days are hard. Shadow work requires understanding. Shadow work requires guidance. Coming into self-love also requires guidance. People, they say, how to do self-love. They don't understand how to do self-love, how to come back to yourself. There are many things, that requires attention during self-love. It's not just by doing the normal basic things that you come into self-love. Self-love also means shadow work. Many people will not agree to this, but it also means shadow work. That's why they say sitting with yourself means what? Sitting with yourself, sitting with those parts of yourself which you never knew existed, or maybe they already existed but you were ignoring them since a very long time. For example, you knew that you had a certain pattern or you had certain addictions, but as days passed by, you always ignored, you took it casually. And now when the universe hit you with separation or dark night of the soul, unknowingly, forcefully, you are being, forced to sit with that kind of pattern and understand how to break it. Firstly, come into acceptance that you have certain kind of pattern which needs attention. So that is difficult. So it's absolute shadow work. Self-love is shadow work. It's choosing your peace over chaos. It's walking away from emotional dependency. It's healing those parts of you that seek validation outside. It's looking at your reflection and saying that I am already whole. Because here's the truth. Your twin flame does not come to complete you. They come to reveal you, trigger you. Every separation triggers you. It shows you the mirror so that you can work on yourself and do proper shadow work. And when you begin to truly love yourself, not because someone else does, but because you choose to, everything changes. The dynamic changes. You stop chasing, you stop waiting, and you start becoming. You take charge of things in your life in your hand. You don't rely on anybody else. And in that becoming, you align with a love that is no longer painful but peaceful. Previously, when your twin flame, your counterpart, abandoned you, it was painful. But after you do shadow work, after you come into self-love, that separation, that abandonment feels nothing. Because you are a high value person now. Your frequency is completely different. You are in a high frequency. So it will not affect you. You will come from a place of peace and light and love, and not from a place of misery, pity, being pitiful to yourself, always showing sympathy that, oh my God, so sad, why this is happening in my life, I'm so miserable. Victim mentality. You come out from that victim mentality. So, after this self-love, after this shadow work, you realize that you were never incomplete. You just forgot your own light. The light was already there within you, but universe and divine had to push you to make you understand that use your own torchlight. Don't depend on others' torchlight. You have your own torchlight, you have your own lantern, use it. So today, choose yourself. Know that you are precious. Know that you are also a divine's creation and you are here for a purpose. Choose yourself not out of ego, but out of love. Because the most powerful union you'll ever experience is the one within. The powerful union is the union that takes place within you. That is the inner union and the divine union. And no other union can beat that union. If you can really achieve that, you are going to be the most peaceful person, and you're never going to complain that somebody else loves me or not. It will never matter. You will keep on giving love to people and you'll be at peace. That's why self-love, shadow work is extremely important in this journey. Because it raises your vibration, it makes you feel worthy, it makes you understand your self-esteem, and makes you a high valued person. So this was all for today. If you really like this episode on self-love in a twin flame journey, like, share and subscribe. Support my channel so that I can bring more interesting topics through my twin flame experience. And I thank all my subscribers, my family, for supporting me in this journey. For any kind of personal guidance, you can WhatsApp or email me. My contact details have been given in the description box and even in the video. So thank you for watching and listening to me. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you soon in the next episode.